Hi, this is Danielle Daws with a tutorial for the alleyway stamps. I don't know about you, but I'm a perfectionist when it comes to stamping for my projects, and I often make a few mistakes, and they're not really that obvious, but they're obvious to me. So I end up with a few different panels left over from when I'm making tutorials, like you can see right here. So I wanted to share with you a couple of ways that I use up those scraps, because I don't like to throw them away. So I'm showing you here first how I make buttons. So I'm just using a button die and cutting it selectively through that panel. So you can see I'm here using a panel of love knots. And the other thing I do is butterflies. And I know this might seem like a really simple thing to do, but they can create really great embellishments that you can use on later projects. Now this is another one that I started stamping for another tutorial with background check, and after the second time over with the stamp, I realized that the first impression hadn't left a really good impression. Like I just hadn't got enough ink on the stamp. So I stopped doing that one and started on another panel, but now I've got enough so that I can make a couple of buttons and another butterfly. So I'll show you a couple of extra things that I do with both of those. But quite simply, the majority of it is just cutting it out and making use of it. Now I do like to put glossy accents on my buttons, on the buttons that I make from cardstock, I should say. I really like the effect that it gives, and it just makes it look more like a real button. Now these buttons are from the Love Knots panel that I just showed you that I was cutting out of. And it's important to know that I used Distress ink on that panel, and Distress ink, once you put the glossy accents on there, you'll find that it starts coming out a little bit into the glossy accents, but it actually looks really quite cool. It gives a really nice tonal effect over the top of your colours. So I do that with all the buttons. Now with the butterfly, just showing you a couple of simple things that I do just to enhance it a little bit. So I've just put some walnut stain ink around the edges, and now I'm using some wired string from the ribbon carousel to go around my butterfly so that I can add the antenna to it. Now because it's wired string, a wired twine, you can manipulate it in a whole bunch of different ways and it will stay put. So I don't really need to tie a knot in the back here, but I'm going to anyway, just to make sure. So because it's wired, I am going to do the knot right at the back of the butterfly, and then get those excess bits up the top to make the antenna. And so that then is ready for me to put on a card. So I could easily create some very simple cards by putting a ribbon or a bow on there, a sentiment, and then adding my butterfly, or adding the buttons. So it's a really easy way to use up your stamped scraps. There you go. Thanks for watching.